What's up everyone, this is Scher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we have information for the Romancing Festival Silver, this new Global X banner that brings 3 very famous characters. And let's go to Reddit. We have information that was posted by Hands43. Like always, thank you so much for doing this amazing job. The Taiwanese community released a video with all the information on the characters. So Silver was really a martial artist like I was expecting. It has 115% agility, 105 STR, they usually have lower STR. Endurance is only 86 and will 81, so she won't take so much damage from physical or magical. She still has some dexterity because you can inherit some of her great sword skills and you will want to, but more about that later. She doesn't have intelligence because she does not above, and love and charisma are on average levels. Her status distribution is not bad at all. And then we have the first passive that damage increases by 20% at all times. We also have the third passive that increases damage for 20% when using martial arts as a weapon, not as martial arts skills. And then another 20% when attacking weak targets. So she has as much as 60% damage increase when attacking weak targets. Then back to the passive one, she also triggers a follow-up called Dragon Flame Rounds that will be permanent in battle but takes 2 LP as penalty. And that also applies defense up large, that is, decrease damage received by 15%. That is her main gameplay. But she also starts with 12 VP and will recover very small amounts of HP when attacking. That should be around 160. So, up to 60% increase in damage, starts with a minus 15% damage, and then we recover HP when attacking. Okay, so she can trigger the same thing again, granting herself follow-up with Dragon Flame Rounds. That is actually a B power attack that is single target and deals heat and sun. Will also recover 1 BP when she uses this attack as a follow-up, and will also apply another defense up large. So she gets 2 stacks of 15% for defense up, has 2 chase mechanics because it uses 2 LP, she can only use 2 times, with B damage, single target, heat and sun. It's kind of similar to a mix between Lian and Chooser, because this is essentially like Lian, but she cannot attack as much like Lian, more similar to Chooser, but her damage is higher. It's B power instead of only D like Lian and Chooser. Then we also have a 0 BP attack, that is Blunt and Sun, and a 12 VP attack that she can use on start with triple S power, that is Blunt and Sun. And this one is actually very interesting because it also grants herself defense block for 1 time and no turn limits. It's different than some others. So as soon as you use this, you will deflect 1 attack from the boss. And on the start of a fight, she already triggers 1 chase with Dragon Flame Round. So triple S plus B power will allow her to do 4S damage easily. So she's already strong for farming and will also be good when used on boss fights. There are plenty of different characters that will matter. She can inherit her 4-hit attack from Halloween style, and in the future we'll get Vandalize Plus, an attack that becomes 3 hits with B power. So she will hit 4 times on the start of fight, and then 5 times when she is able to charge Dragon Flame Rounds again. So she is a very nice damage dealer. She has competition in something. Her follow-up is Heat and Sun. Heat is not something that she uses in any of her other styles, but Sun will appear in all of her 3 skills, at least for her main setup. That means that she is a Sun nuker mainly, but on Remembrance Battle, for example, it doesn't matter the elements that you are using, and she will be the strongest damage dealer there, and will work when you're fighting against bosses that are weak to Sun. She's better used with Matriarch's Paean of Victory instead of Paean of Peace. Paean of Peace will still prefer either Chooser or Lian. Okay, so moving out, she will be a triple S character just because of raw amounts of damage. Urpina is kind of an evolution of what we have been seeing with Urpina. She does not have the highest STR or agility, but they are pretty good values, 106% for both. Her endurance and will are on average levels for current games, 75 dexterity is enough to hit most targets. And for passives, with first one, she gets 1 BP when she attacks, and starts the fight with 12. Then we have 20% damage when attacking weak targets, and she will also apply defense down. That is a 15% decrease in the defense of the enemy, so you are increasing your damage by that value too. when a weak attack lands that will last for 2 turns. There's very good usages of this. Another character that got this was Global X Dark. In the end, even applying minus 15, it was only increasing my overall damage by 5% in a boss fight. So you have to understand that it does not increase as much as it says directly. And she also has High Protect Tension that increases her damage by 20, reaching 40% on total, and decreases damage she receives by 30%. That is super nice. No other version of Urpina had this. And if she cannot trigger a counter because the enemy is using an indirect attack or a spell, she will be better protected. Nice. Well, first of all, we had UDX Arpina with Torrent. That attack uses 10 DP. He attacks a single target, and then she opens an evasive counter stance to attack AoE with Slash and Pierce. That was always very nice. It's still the best AoE counter mechanic in the game. Now, when she uses the first hit, before she enters the counter stance, she will regain 1 BP, and then that skill itself already recovers 1 when she counters. Now it will recover 2, and if she triggers 3 counters in a turn, she will regain all the BP she used, allowing her to use Torrent again. And because she starts with 12, she has at least 2 BP that she can store and use when she cannot counter 3 times or just 2 times, for example. So a very nice mechanic. Now she has also from herself skill number 3 that also works similarly but for single target. She will attack with S power, then she will enter the evasion stance for 1 turn, and this time she's countering with Slash and Cold instead of Slash and Pierce, and each hit will recover BP by 1, actually by 2 because of the passive. So if she counters 3 times, she will have enough to counter again and go for it infinitively. The good thing is that it's evasion, it's not defensive. We have Seki Tsushima that's the best counter specialist right now for full damage output, but he takes damage, while he doesn't. So depending on the situation, she may be more interesting. Now let's get back into the defense down part of her passive number 2. Every time that she attacks a weak target, she is going to apply defense down. Defense down will increase the damage that you apply to the enemies, and when she enters the counter evasive stance, she will counter direct attacks, right? So each new hit from counter will apply defense down again. That means that this will help increase her own damage output while countering, but also the damage output of everyone else, because this is applied on the target, and it's actually very nice. But remember, my experience with Global X Dark said that it was increasing 5% with each time that he was landing an attack, but depending on the situations, if you have multiple enemies, this can be actually interesting. Besides, she has the skill number 2 that grants Monolith down small for 3 turns on all targets and costs only 6 BP. It's nice because she effectively gets 4 BP per turn. The effect lasts for 3 turns. She can also be used to decrease damage from enemies as a support unit. And skill number 1 is just free and recovers her HP by very small effect. Her S style may give her something like 0 BP attack that buffs SDR when she's not using the counter mechanic. She can still work well in some long fights if she can do something else when she's not countering. So it's an evolution of what we have been using with Urpina. Not exactly that big of an upgrade, but something to consider. It's gonna be an SS plus character in our tier list. Then the last one is Rouge, and Rouge is very strange, but I really like his setup. First of all, he's pretty weak to physical damage, only 50% endurance like most mages are. He has 91% agility, it's not that big, could have been better. His intelligence is 112, with some bonus here and bonus on charisma. And I understand why they did bonus here, because he can also work as a self-healer in some setups. His build is 110%, that's pretty big, so he should be using more against enemies that are also magical. So the first passive, when he lands an attack, he recovers 1 BP, and then when using any sort of single target attack, he has a 37% chance to trigger skill number 2, and then 25% chance separately to trigger skill number 3, that is a full AoE attack that recovers BP to the party. So let's try to understand this. First of all, you are using a single target attack, you get 1 BP. And then you have 25% chance to trigger this chain that attacks 2 times with deep power, recovers very small amounts of HP, that will be around 350 on total. for each attack, and it's Shadow and Blunt. The damage potential will reach close or similar to S power with only 5 BP. He recovers enough so that he can keep using it most of the time. And then 25% chance to chase with his skill number 3, that is Blooming Fireworks, the same skill as Global X Rock Bouquet. And this is a 8 power Shadow and Heat attack that will randomly recover between 1 and 2 BP to all surviving allies. Can be 1, can be 2, but this is actually very nice because, well, let's try to understand. If it triggers this by using a single target attack, you are getting this for free. A 10 BP skill, use it for free after you attack it. And by chasing multiple times, he will recover a little extra BP so that eventually you will be able to just use the skill itself. But when you use the skill itself, you don't have any chance to chase, because remember, his chase mechanic only works when using single target attacks, and this one is a full AoE one. So very interesting setup. He becomes probably the better BP battery the game has so far. And one interesting fact is that he can impart many interesting skills to work in some setups. He has a 4 BP skill that can recover small amounts of HP. That will be close to 1000. 4 BP for damage and almost 1000 heal. And he has a chance to just chase to recover even more. He has high protect tension, so you can also just use the fast version. The one that is already run now has a 5 BP attack that buffs his intelligence, that buffs the enemy will, so he's going to do more damage and then chase with either skill 2 and skill 3. Very nice. But let's talk about the remaining passives. He also has 20% increased damage when equipping with a staff, and plus 20 when attacking enemies that are weak to the elemental. So a total of 40% here, and then high protect tension increasing it to 60%, and also decreasing damage he receives by 30. So 60% on max potential, just like Silver, and even reduces damage that he receives up to 30%. So a pretty nice build where he gets damage, he gets to heal, he gets to help the party, and kind of similar to what I was expecting for him, something that will allow him to buff the party. Well, he's just recovering BP, but it's also something that we don't have many characters capable of. And the last thing is, he also has a skill that can heal. That is C power, that's actually very good. He was probably gonna to recover almost from 0 to max. And will also apply 1 damage block for 1 turn. So it's probably unique, and you haven't seen this on JP. And being fast will allow you to just protect someone that's close to dying, and even then, applying the damage block will keep him alive even better. Depending on the situations, this can be helpful. I don't think that he's a main healer, but he has plenty of different mechanics, and if this is needed in a boss fight, he's going to help. If you are inheriting that skill number 2 that increases his intelligence and debuffs enemy will, he will also do plenty of good damage and can be used as a secondary damage dealer, and eventually help the party when needed. So, plenty of different effects. This Rouge is an SS Plus in our tier list, and I will observe him because I have some doubts about how his skills triggers, and I'll test him and then we'll talk more about this guy. But this bidder is good. It's really good. I am torn between a high Silver award and well, entry-level Gold award, because all of them are good and they are even unique. Silver is more defensive than her future style, but the difference in damage is pretty small, and she even goes for different elements. This one is based on sun, the next one deals lightning and cold, so it's not competing, even can interchange some skills, but not on perfect level. You will probably have to choose one or another, and they just don't override themselves. And then we have Urpina, a character that is still important in the game for some content, and she just became better, an evolution of what she had. And for last, we have Rouge, a character that became super unique and will take advantage of all his past styles to make up for the final builds. And remember that there is a future version of Shadowing in JP that he makes Shadow Squads something explosive. The damage will be insane, and if you have Rouge together with that Shadowing, you're gonna do plenty of big damage while also having different utilities. Because of recovering BP will allow you to use better attacks with Shadowing and the other people in the party faster. With all that said, this is my opinion. What is your say here in the comment section? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are not so sure about pulling, wait for a review, or wait even 1 week, we don't know what's coming, we may have some very interesting characters in the future. Also decide based on what you have and if you feel like you are lacking what these characters offer. See you later in the next video. Bye!